It's time to look at some tarot TikToks again. There's a lot of both gold and bullshit on tarot TikTok, so let's go through it to see what we think. Hi, I'm Ruby. I'm here to help you elevate your tarot practice through my tarot chats and deck reviews. A hard thing about this is that a lot of tarot TikToks are about like little readings. Some of these I have.
If you're interested in whether or not you might.
Wheel of Fortune isn't just about luck, it's also about seasons and cycles. Shuffle your deck and lay out your cards. Find the Wheel of Fortune. The card on the left is the season.
We have seen tips like these before where you pick a specific card, then you lay out your deck, and I like the way that she's doing it here face up, and you can look for the specific card. Here it's the Wheel of Fortune, and then she has a tip in the theme of the Wheel of Fortune.
To move into, and the card on the right is how you prepare for it.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I do like those. It's really not the way that I read, but I know that it works for a lot of people. Okay, I'm having a lot of trouble now because a lot of these I have already seen in previous videos.
All right, quick tarot tip when reading for yourself. We can't all afford to get a reading, and there are a lot of very unscrupulous people. So my channel's here to teach you how to read for yourself and do it well. Okay, so if you've been around for a while or you're trying to read with me, you know I'm very, very much
why is this taking so long?
To understand the angle of the cards, and good questions are imperative. Good in, good out. Shit in, shit out. Okay, so we need to get rid of all the yes no questions, because the cards then have no room for the grey, and there's lots of grey in life.
Very much agree. I really don't like how sometimes we see all of these yes and no questions, how to use tarot for yes and no. I personally don't believe, and I don't think that you should use tarot for yes or no questions, because tarot has so much more to offer than just a yes or no answer, and that is entirely what I think tarot is about. It's about exploring that gray area of life.
I want you to be applying questions to cards. Let's say, for example, you want to know if your special person is going to be in touch. What do I need to know about the likely outcome of this person getting in touch with me? If you want to know if your relationship is going to last, what do I need to know about the longevity of this relationship?
Yes, I think this is pretty similar to how I read tarot, how I teach tarot. So yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense, that if you ask like better questions where you really ask for more insights than like a yes or no answer, like are we gonna see each other again? I don't know, there's a whole lot of gray area that needs to be taken into account for the tarot to be able to answer that question.
If you want to know if somebody's going to be in touch with you, for example, what do I need to know about the likely length of time until this person gets in touch with me?
Yeah,
you get the gist. So you can take a closed question and open it up by just playing around with the
totally
words a
agree.
little bit to allow the cards room. Now, the other tip I want you to think about is this: not every card is an absolute answer. Sometimes
it's true, and I hate it. Sometimes I had this for a client reading like earlier, like last week, where we wanted to know something, and then I drew the moon card, and oftentimes I see the moon card as like something is hidden, you're not supposed to completely know yet, and I'm asking a question for a reason, because I want to know the answer, and then the tarot is telling me that I can't know the answer. I don't like it, but it's what happens sometimes.
Sometimes it's what I call a signpost, or a consideration to think about. So a card doesn't necessarily mean this is what the card means. It could be asking you to think about something, and I've just literally...
Yeah, and I think what helps with that, especially if you're a beginner tarot reader, by using spreads, you like open up the question, but you close off what the card is supposed to mean. So if you use a spread, then you'll know whether the card you pull is about you, or about them, or about your connection, or if it shows an issue, or if it shows what the other person is like going through. Within a spread, you make that very clear. And if you want to know like what spreads I recommend for beginners, I do have a tarot quick start guide that you can get for free. Link is in the description. And I show you with keywords and spread how you can very easily do your own tarot reading. I feel like this TikTok is very long, so I'm gonna skip towards the next one. Do you hear my puppy menacing?
I've got a little tarot tip for you that you might enjoy using. This is one I like to use when I would like guidance from my whole team.
From your whole team? I don't know. I've never heard that concept or idea of your spirit guides being like your team. I don't know. I kind of think it's funny.
So cleanse and shuffle your deck thoroughly. The top card of the deck is going to represent your higher self. This is a message from your higher self for the day.
Okay, I know might be a stupid question, but like, what is your higher self? Like, I get what it's supposed to mean, what you yourself would know if you were like, I don't know, like looking onto you, something like that. And there's probably information about that, but I just hear it so often, like your higher self. The idea has sort of lost its meaning to me.
Then you split the deck in half,
Could totally be
as you
me.
can get, and that is going to be a message coming from within, which is your ancestors. You are a culmination of everyone before you, so they walk with you from within. So that
You're a combination of everyone who walked in front of you. I don't believe that. That's not something I believe. Like, I'm saying this as someone who has like no relationship with her mother, because I didn't want to. I didn't want a relationship with my mother. I refuse to believe that I'm like a culmination of, no, I'm more than that. I am my own person. I just, like, I get the idea, but I disagree. I disagree. And maybe that's because it's too painful to admit that my mother could be a part of me. I just like to see myself as my own person, and I don't think for me personally it's really helpful to think about myself as a culmination of people who have come before me.
is a message from your ancestors for the day. And then the bottom is the last card, and that is a message from your spirit team. I like to envision the bottom card representing my team that stands behind me. It's a really lovely card from my higher self, not gonna lie. This is a sweet one from my ancestors, a reminder not to give a shit about the perceptions of others as I pursue my goals, and my spirit team recognizing I've been having a hard time lately. So there you go. I've got a little.
I like that. I also like that she or they gave an actual, they both gave an actual explanation for how they would interpret the cards. I like that.
So you're interested in the tarot, but you have no idea where to start. No problem at all. Let me help you and give you some tips if you are a newbie to the tarot.
Let's see.
So the first thing I always like to recommend people and remind people, the old wives' tale that you cannot buy a tarot deck, you have to be gifted it. Now,
yeah, I don't know anyone who still believes that. I never believed that when I started. I don't know if there are still people who believe that. If there are, they're right. They, them, she, her, I don't know. Divine Raven. I agree. You don't have to. Like, obviously, I have bought all of my own tarot decks, so.
nothing but that. A wives' tale. If you are feeling called to buy yourself a tarot deck, go ahead and do it. It is 2023. True. Live your best life. Now,
yes, live your best life.
Moving on to tip number 2. There's no such thing as a beginner deck. There are decks that are helpful to beginner, but there's no such thing called the beginner tarot deck.
I agree that there are no like the beginner tarot decks. I have made videos on like best tarot deck for beginners, but those are more like if you're a beginner tarot reader and you are looking for a deck that is helpful for beginners, then those are in those videos. But I agree.
Or I'm sure there are, but you don't need to use it. So with tarot decks, you want to find a deck that ultimately calls for you. And when you are starting out, you want to find a deck that not only has every card labeled, because as you will see, some decks do have the minor arcana cards not necessarily labeled. And you want to find a deck that has fantastic symbolism. This combination of deck...
symbolism, yes and no, because it depends on like what the symbolism is. If you are a beginner, then symbolism is something that is going to be really hard to understand and get into, I think. And I'm saying this as someone who has found it really hard to read intuitively, like right off the bat. That was something that I really struggled with. But if you are someone who picks up on symbols and like gives their meanings to it, then yes, sure. But there are also decks that have different kinds of symbolism in them. So I have my Wake Me Up Tarot. That's the first one that comes to mind. And in the Hermit card, they have their laptop in a cage with a lock on it. Now, that's not necessarily what we see in the original Hermit card, but I think that it's a sort of a symbol, it's a sort of a metaphor, I guess, for something that we can all understand what it means to have your laptop locked up in a cage while you're trying to meditate. I think that that makes a lot of sense. So yes, symbology, absolutely. But it also depends on you as a person and what type of symbology you understand, you relate to, and what would make it easy for you to read intuitively.
Will help you learn the tarot card meanings very, very effectively. Specifically, I do recommend Darkwoods Tarot for beginners because it has fantastic symbolism.
I talked about this in my Discord server earlier, yesterday actually. Link to the server to join totally free is in the description. I don't like the Darkwoods Tarot. I think they're talking about the Llewellyn box set that you can actually see like right behind her. But I don't like it because I feel like the images are so detailed, but it doesn't really show on the small size of card by Llewellyn, which I think is a real shame because the images are really, really stunning. But I just personally, it wasn't my vibe. It wasn't my thing, totally.
And all the cards are labeled. Number 3, remember to have patience. It's gonna take some time before you learn the ultimate meanings of each card. Number 4, with tarot,
True. But you might be like me. Whenever I pick up a new hobby, a new interest, I want to be able to do it immediately perfectly. I know I'm not the only one. Again, if you want to at least get started to read the tarot today and you already have a tarot deck, pick up my free quick start guide to tarot. Link is in the description. It will help you out. And you don't have to know everything before you do your first tarot reading. You can have like a little guide, a little cheat sheet on the side while you do your readings. That's actually going to be a really, really great, like an amazing way to start practicing tarot, to start practicing your readings.
There are a lot of steps included when it comes to giving a reading. So it's both taking in mind the meaning of the cards, the placement of the cards, adapting it to a situation in which you're reading it on, as well as involving your intuition in the whole process. So
Yes, absolutely. And that is, again, what I go over in my entire free guide that you can download.
Tarot tip. The High Priestess guards the liminal space between our world and the next. She is the keeper of secrets and represents the power of our intuition. But the High Priestess also teaches us that some things should stay behind the veil. Shuffle your deck and lay out your cards. Find the Popess.
I like the way that that they did this. I like the way that she did this by like first explaining a little bit something about the High Priestess, like understanding, and then going into an actual exercise that you can do.
The card on the left represents some kind of spiritual ability or some kind of spiritual information that you have that should stay private. And the card on the right represents a spiritual ability, an intuitive skill, or some kind of information that you are encouraged to share with others.
Cool.
Tarot tip.
I like that. Yeah, I know. I have heard people say this before. So if you're overwhelmed trying to remember every tarot card meaning, stop. Instead, memorize the major arcana. Yes. That the cups are emotions, the swords are thoughts, the pentacles are physical, and the wands are energy. I already think that is a little too simplified because I think the cups are definitely not just about emotions. I think a really big part of the cups suit is connections as well as, emotions, sure. Swords are not just about thoughts only. I think it's about communication, about your mental capacity, all that stuff. Pentacles, physical, I think that's too broad. Wands, energy, I definitely think that's too broad. I see wands as something you're passionate about as well. And then pentacles I also see as money, finances, material things. And then memorize the numerology from 1 to 10. I also honestly don't think it's that simple. Like, I don't like it when people say that, oh yeah, this is how you can read tarot. Like, I tried this. For me, it didn't work. Maybe it worked for some people. But I definitely like the way that I teach. I think it is way more helpful to give the tarot card meanings, at least like one keyword per card, then have some tarot spreads, and then fill in the blanks. And then over time you get to see more meaning behind all of the cards. And I think this, I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to do it this way. Yeah, I don't know. And it also just never felt really accurate for me this way either, but yeah.
Tarot tip. The moon is known to control the tides through its gravitational pull. Shuffle your deck, lay out your cards, and find the moon. The card on the left is the ebb you should be pushing away, and the card on the right is the flow you should be pulling in. Tarot.
Okay, so first of all, I love this deck. I have no idea what this deck is. Does it say anywhere? And I love her, oh, it's the Heroine Tarot. That's so cool. It's really pretty. But she was the one from the previous tarot tip that I liked as well, with the High Priestess. Yeah, I like this. I like this one. Again, she talks about a little info on the moon card, which, just like the High Priestess, I think is a card that many people struggle with learning the tarot. At least it was for me. So I like that. One more.
Here's a tarot tip for you. If you feel like you are on the precipice of a big change, or you feel like something is coming, this is a way for you to essentially get a little hint as to what it could be. After shuffling your deck, you're going to want to go through it until you find the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but the shuffling through the deck, I don't like as much as like putting it out in front of you. I don't know why.
After you found it, take the card that was right before it, and that's going to be essentially a hint as to what's coming towards you. Let me know what you think about this.
Let's do it. You guys know I like to keep things practical, so let's just try this, okay? You can grab your deck right now. We can do this together. I'm using my This Might Hurt Tarot. I've previously done a review on this. So I'm gonna shuffle it, and then I'm gonna look through my deck to see where the Wheel of Fortune is. And this is gonna take a while. Oh, no, it did not take a while. It was the fourth card. Does that mean that things will happen for me quickly? So the card that was in front of it was the Two of Cups. What does that mean? Because I am already in a relationship, like a way to deepen my connection. That's gonna be something to journal about. I'm gonna keep those out of my deck. If you enjoyed going over tarot TikToks together, then you'll also enjoy this video where we did the same thing. Subscribe for more tarot chats, deck reviews, all that fun stuff. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!